Hi everyone, it's Mr. Cash. Let's make a meter. So we're going to use things that hopefully, something that you can find around your house that you can measure and make a 1 meter length. So you can start measuring things using meters. So look for one of these things around your house. So look for some string. So this is just some string I had in my maker box here. Maybe you've got thicker string. This almost looks like shoelace material, like so you make shoelaces out of it. This is made for necklaces. So you can look around your house. You might have some yarn that you could use. So any of those things. If you don't have anything like that, look for tape. Maybe you've got tape like this, but this is even better. Masking tape would be even better. So try and find that. If you haven't got that, look for just a piece of paper. Maybe you can look for one of the books that I gave you at the beginning of the year. Maybe you've got a blank sheet at the end, and you could just take out this blank sheet at the back, and there you have a piece of paper. So you should have something like this that you can use to make a meter length. So here's how you do it. So with the string, and I'm just going to do it with the string. You could do it with any of these things here. You want to measure out 100 centimeters or 1,000 millimeters. So this ruler that I've provided to everybody, it goes from 0 to 300 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this right at the 0, like that, and stretch it out to the end, not pulling too tight, just snug. Now there's the 300 mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to put a little mark here to make the string darker. So that tells me that's 300 centimeters right there. Then I'm going to move the 300 centimeter mark to the 0. Pull all the way up now for another 300 centimeters. So here we are. Now I've got a second length of 300 millimeters. Sorry, I said centimeters before. That's another 300 millimeters. So 300 plus 300 is 600. So up to that second black mark is 600 millimeters. Now I'm going to go again. So I'm going to put this at the 0 again and go all the way up to the 300 again and make another mark. So now that's 3 sets of 300. So let's start at the beginning here. There's 300, then another 300 makes 600, and another 300 makes 900. How much more do we need to get to 1,000 millimeters? If you said 100 more, you're right, because we've got 900 millimeters so far. So I'm putting that right there on the 0, the black mark. And then I'm going to the 100 mark now. And now I'm going to make a little 100 mark, a little black mark there. There we go. Then get some scissors. And those ones are a little sticky, so I'm going to use these scissors here. So I want to make sure I'm cutting at the correct black mark. So at the end there's my 100 millimeter mark from the 900 point. So I'm going to cut right on there. So now with this piece of string here, this is now 1 meter. Now it won't all fit inside the frame of the video here, but if I pull this out straight and pull it kind of tight, I've got a 1 meter piece of string. So if you got a piece of string or yarn, you can do it that way. If you've got tape like this, what I would suggest you do is get a big long piece of tape that's longer than a meter, and get another piece of tape that you can put right on top of it so that you don't have a sticky side. So for example, I'm going to make like a tape measure. This is where the word tape measure comes from, because you're making a measurement thing out of tape. So now I'm going to put the 2 sticky sides together so that there's no sticky side. Okay, so now I've got this big long piece of tape that's not sticky on either side because I used 2 pieces of tape and stuck the sticky sides together. Then I'm going to take my scissors, give it a nice straight cut there. Now it's nice and straight. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did with the string. I'm not going to make the whole meter thing with the tape, but I'm just going to get started the same sort of way. So there's at the 0, and then I'm going to get my marker out, or my pencil, whatever I have, and put a mark right at the 300. Right? And then I continue on. So just like with the tape, I'm going to go on and I'm going to measure out 1,000 millimeters or 100 centimeters for the tape. Now you can use regular tape too. This won't work as well because it's clear and it's harder to see and use, but we're going to use this tape actually for when we're making it out of paper. So to make your meter stick out of paper, if you don't have any of those other things that I just showed you, what you're going to do is cut the paper up into strips and measure them and tape them together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut up a bunch of strips all about the same width. Don't make them all different widths. They're about the width of like the masking tape, right? I'm going to cut these all up. And I'm going to cut out enough so that I have more than a meter when I tape them together. Okay, I think that's going to be more than a meter. So now all I'm going to do, I'm going to measure it at the end. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape on the front and a piece of tape on the back. Now you can use masking tape or regular tape for this. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to use clear tape. So I'm going to put a piece on here like that. Then I'm going to flip it over. And if I don't put a piece of paper on the back, you get this little piece there. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape on the back. Good. And then next piece of paper. Now try to make it straight. Don't tape it so that it's crooked like that. You want it to be straight, not crooked. Okay. So put that on like that. Flip it over. Put another piece on this side. And finally the last piece. So this is going to be much longer than a meter, but we're going to measure it and cut it. And it's going to be the same process as when I measured out the string 1 meter and measured out the masking tape 1 meter. So there we go. Now I've got a long piece of paper that's longer than a meter. Now get my ruler out again and start measuring. So there is 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters. And with the tape, I can write this on here. I can write 300 millimeters or 30 centimeters. And then I can do another 300. So now don't write 300 again, because now if we add those together, now we're at 600 millimeters or 60 centimeters. Go on again. Okay. And there's another 300. So that's 900 millimeters or 90 centimeters. And now 10 more centimeters or 100 more millimeters. There's 1,000 millimeters. 100 centimeters, dun, da, 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 or 1 meter. So I'm going to move these little black notches up to the top so that when I'm measuring things, you know what, I could get even more fancy if I wanted to, and you can do this too. You could measure out 100 millimeters between each one. Yeah, I just thought of this now. This could have been something we could have just made this out of paper. That's pretty cool. Anyway, just to finish off the video, I'm going to cut this piece of paper. Now, I'm not going to cut it right here because I don't want to cut through my numbers. So I'm going to cut it here, but only up to this line is 1 meter. So there's my 1 meter piece of paper. Here's my 1 meter piece of string. Now you do not need to make all of these, just one. I just made a bunch here. You just have to make one of them. And then I have the same thing with masking tape as well.